Am I the asshole for asking my brother and his family to leave the house I inherited so my daughter could move in? I'll try to keep this straightforward. My name's Layla, and I have a daughter named Jasmine who's finishing up secondary school and planning to attend a university in Bristol next year. About a decade and a half ago, I became the primary carer for my grandfather, Stanley, after his health declined. At the time, no one else in the family stepped up. I had just graduated and didn't have a stable job yet, so I took it on. I looked after him full-time for over 3 years until he passed. In his will, he left me his bungalow. It's modest. 2 bedrooms, small garden, near the university district. But it was his way of thanking me, I suppose. I lived there alone for a while. Then after I married my husband Mark, we moved to a larger place outside the city when I got pregnant. The bungalow sat empty for a bit until my younger brother Sam asked if he and his wife Eliza could rent it from me. This was around the time their first child was born. I agreed, but with one clear condition: the arrangement would be temporary. I told him from the start that when Jasmine turned 18, I planned to give her the bungalow to live in during uni. That was always the understanding. We even had a written tenancy agreement. I set the rent well below market rate, just enough to cover taxes and basic upkeep. Fast forward to last year, I reminded Sam the lease would be ending in 12 months so I could begin making repairs and preparing the place for Jasmine. He brushed it off, saying we'd figure it out later. A few months before the deadline, I followed up formally. He still didn't take it seriously. Eventually, when the date passed and they hadn't moved, I had to issue an official notice. That was ignored. So I filed for eviction through the courts. It wasn't something I wanted to do, but I also wasn't going to let my daughter be left without housing because my brother refused to make other arrangements. They were finally evicted a few weeks ago. When I got into the bungalow, I was shocked. The place was in awful condition. Walls damaged, mold in the bathroom, broken cupboards, and not once had they told me things needed repairs. It's going to take months and thousands of pounds to make it livable again. When I brought this up to Sam, he got furious. He said I was selfish for kicking out a young family so my spoiled daughter could live alone. He also accused me of stealing the house in the first place, even though no one else wanted to care for Granddad. Now our parents are siding with him. He and Eliza have moved into their spare room, and they've been complaining about me constantly. My mother says I should have just waited a bit longer, but I gave them a year's notice. And this was always the plan. I feel guilty. I don't like family drama, and I hate that things came to this. But I also feel like I did everything transparently. So, am I the asshole for following through on something I told them would happen over a decade ago?